Hey everybody, good afternoon. Happy Sunday to all of you. Usually on a Sunday, this is not my current situation. I'm not usually at home in my comfortable clothes, taking some deep breaths and relaxing, but this has been a week to end all weeks in a good way. I hope that you guys are well. I hope that your families, hi Nikki, are blossoming and prospering this week. It is my hope and desire that some things that you've been hoping for have started coming to life and being fruitful this week. I have not been live all week. Okay. Now, y'all know for me, that is really a stretch. And even today, I'm on a slight schedule, but there are some things that I really wanted to drop in and deposit to you guys so that we can have some honest discussions about where we are and where we are going. And so on this Sunday, I have just slid back in town. Okay, just slid back in town. It's been a very abundant week, a very busy week. So let me tell y'all. Okay, I went from here in Alabama, went to Atlanta, flew from Atlanta to St. Louis, Missouri for the Homeschool Legal Defense Association Homeschooling National Leaders Conference. I'm on my friend's board of directors for her co-op, right? Homeschool organization for Black kids in Birmingham. And so I was honored to go with her and be her plus one in St. Louis. Met some incredible people, made some dynamic connections, just the relationships and how they really want to diversify the space and talk more to Black homeschoolers and Latino homeschoolers was really incredible. And so then I went from St. Louis, flew back to Atlanta, picked up my mom and my son, and then flew to DC for a good friend of mine who hosts an annual awards banquet. She has the Bold, Brave, and Beautiful Women in Business luncheon every year. And so I was honored to be an awardee at her luncheon this year. So that was incredible. And then I got up this morning at 2 a.m. and got to the airport and flew back home. And so it has been quite a whirlwind of a week. Okay. This morning or this afternoon, for just a few minutes, I want to talk about how important it is to make certain shifts that take a lot out of us. Okay, this week I have really felt pulled on because usually, y'all, my week, not all my weeks are not like this. Usually I'm working at home, I'm homeschooling at my house, I'm doing these things. But on this particular week, there was something different. You know, the task to be accomplished was going out into the world, meeting new people, challenging myself to make these connections, and really intentionally and dynamically doing something different. Hi, Tanya. You know, I really want to emphasize the challenge I had to give myself, right? So I sympathize with all of our ladies where it is so challenging to step away, right? One of the talks at the homeschooling conference was on leisure, right? Learning how to take rest days, how to slow down for clarity, and everything he said. I said, this is dynamic. I said, but I went up to the facilitator after his session and I said, I think you missed some things. Who does that? I do that. I went up to the facilitator after he spoke on rest and leisure, and I said, sir, I think you missed a couple things. I said, because there are some things that we need to do before we are able to take rest and take leisure. He said, go a little deeper for me. And I began to talk to him about the pillars of productivity, how many of us, our egos are so wrapped up in the roles we play, the things that we do, that we feel like if I step away for a little while, if I remove myself from the equation for a little bit, the house of cards is going to fall in. If somehow, some kind of way, I remove myself from the equation, if I'm not the person that is facilitating things and working on things and operating, if I'm not the person feeding the children or cleaning the house or doing the work, if I'm not that person, if I'm not present to do it, the house of cards is going to fall in. So I was telling him about delegating and communicating, right? Our pillars of productivity. how in our community we focus on doing these things first so we can have more time to breathe and just lay outside and absorb God's greatness and his beauty. Like that is something that God wants for us, but we have to be able to put our lives in order to accomplish that. Okay, so these are some things that I was able to glean as a part of going this week. Okay, hello. I had to okay myself. And me and my husband had this discussion before I left. I said, I always feel like I'm supposed to be here doing the things, And he said, yes, but in order for you to be who you're supposed to be, you have to get used to going. You have to get used to going. Now, I'll go to something for a day, maybe 2 days. Y'all, I was gone 5 days this week. I'm talking about Montgomery, Alabama to Atlanta, Atlanta to St. Louis, St. Louis back to Atlanta, Atlanta to DC, and got home like an hour and a half. This is not my normal life all the time, So everyone was like, you got to leave early and go here. They were like, wow, what a schedule. I was like, no, my life is not like this every week. I don't go like this all the time. And so one thing that I really learned this week, sitting in ballrooms of amazing leaders, right? People who don't look like me, people who are of different ethnicities. I got to meet their public relations managers, this beautiful Korean woman. I'm going to tag her in this later. Beautiful. She's just phenomenal, an incredible speaker and hilarious. And other Latinas sisters. I got one really, really good Latina friend. Diversify me, right? Like how many of us are in so many situations where all our friends look like us? Now we talk about our Caucasian counterparts for this, but a lot of us Black folk, we only kick it with Black folk. Diversify me. Give me some new friendships, some new connections. Put me in that space where I enlarge my territory by enlarging my connections. These things do not happen just because you wake up in the morning and say, I want to meet some more people. You have to go to this stuff. I put a post up the other day and I was like, we spend so much time talking about who doesn't support, who doesn't do this, our friends or the haters or all this stuff. These people, there are 7 billion people on the planet. 7 billion. Maybe, just maybe, you need to exit your normal comfort zone, what feels natural to you, and become somebody who's willing to go. It's a transition. It doesn't just happen on its own. It doesn't just unfold because you think it should. All of these things come together because you're willing to go and do. And so I'm sitting in this community. Everybody that's in the room has homeschooling organizations in their respective cities. Oh, you're in Texas, I should talk to you. Oh, you're in Virginia, you host the annual conference, I should talk to you. Oh, you facilitate the homeschooling program at one of the biggest churches okay, I need to talk to you too. We need to know who each other are. I want to know what you do. You should know what I do. So many times we feel stuck, we are confined because our mindsets are confined. I can't see how I'm going to elevate myself. I feel stuck, I feel confined, but you have literally stuck yourself in this one spot. I always encourage my husband, who's a pastor, when there's a conference that comes up, listen, baby, I don't have any added pastoral or ministry connections here at the house with me. You need to go to those things. But sometimes I, as a wife, as a mom, struggle with walking away and saying, hey, we're going to go. But it doesn't mean I shouldn't go. It means I got to work on it. My husband, he said, I'm going to mess with you when you leave. He said, but I want you to go and be that person. I want you to go and get exposed. I want you to meet new people and make new connections. These things are necessary. It's necessary for us to put ourselves in different situations. And I'm so grateful this week that I was able to do this as an example to all of you, right? We got the Momathon Conference coming up October 28th through the 30th in Atlanta. If you can't get away for 2 nights, come the 29th and the 30th. right? Come hang out, learn, grow. We're going to be talking about your wellness, your time management, your brand building, doubling your prices, all the things wrapped up in this micro weekend, this micro workshop weekend, so that you can learn and grow on purpose and meet 40 other women who are in the same mindset and want to love on you, right? But I can't come to your house and pick you up. I can't come to your house and pick you up. Last night I was messaging with one of our ladies. I was on Priceline helping her find a cheaper flight. I was like, okay, so we need to make some different changes. I do everything, and I want y'all to hear me. I do everything in my power to get you here. But what I cannot give you is willingness. What no one can give you is willingness, the desire to be someone different and to create a result around that person. Nobody can give you that. Nobody can give you tenacity, focus. We can walk with you while you become this person, but you have to be willing to be her first. A different version. You got to say, God, I want to be a different version this year, not in 2023, this year. And I realize it might not happen sitting in my house. My kids might not be given the sauce right now. It may not happen that way. So we have to be okay. We have to work on morphing ourselves into somebody that is hungry for different. I never considered going to a homeschooling conference before. I really went because my friend, I'm on her board of directors, and I was like, sure, I'll go with you. Babe, can I get a permission slip for these days? He said, yep, you can go. And I was there, a room full of hundreds, maybe over 1,000 leaders in the homeschooling space. And they want to hear from us as those who operate, who serve Black kids, who have Black children. How do we support your community? What? It was like a whole different ball game. We want to talk to you. We want to know. For my friend who has an organization, they said, how can we fund your dream? Listen. Let me tell y'all something else that happened. We're walking through the exhibitor hall. We're just talking to the vendors, getting to know the people, shaking hands, getting emails. They're like, listen, we sponsor stuff like this. They're telling us. They told us, hey, if you have a podcast, we'll sponsor the podcast episode. If you have a blog, we'll sponsor the blog. We just want more people to know about how our university does dual enrollment for kids. I said, well, give me your card. I would never have met and had that opportunity. If I can get her to the conference, I am. I never would have had that opportunity if I stayed home. I would have missed it. There were multiple people who said, email me. We sponsor stuff. We want to get there's some kind of like healthcare sharing program they have for homeschooling families or families in general. And I said, well, a lot of our ladies are entrepreneurs where they may want to step away from their job, but they feel like because of insurance, they can't. All this other stuff. But I never would have met these individuals if I didn't go. So first of all, we have to have a willingness to move outside of our normal space and go do something different. We also have to have the tenacity to actually organize our lives so we can go. Okay, so we can go. I'm grateful for my husband. He stepped in, y'all. He said, listen, they're good. I told my friend, she said, I've been trying to get you up here for the awards banquet for forever. I said, this is the first year that my children were old enough to stay home by themselves. And we made some very intentional family shifts over the last 6 months. That's the only way this could happen. So while there are seasons to this, you have to have the willingness and you have to be okay with organizing and communicating with your significant other, your loved ones, your kids, so that when you do step away to go do things for a day or 2 days or a whole week, if that's your lot in life, that the house of cards doesn't come caving in as a result. Last but not least, before I hop off, we have a wedding to go to today. You can't tell yet. I'm still comfortable. Is that you really need to have this intentional shift that I need the village. Like I actually do need people who have strengths that are not my strengths or operate in certain facets that maybe I'm not operating in. And we have to be okay with that. Okay. For example, I met a sis, and maybe she'll watch or see this sometime. Met a sister. We connected from across the room. I was like, I feel like I should know who you are. She said the same thing about me. I went back to her before I left town. I said, I have to get your phone number. I don't know why. I just need to get your phone number. She's in Texas. She has 11 children. Do y'all hear me? I didn't say 7. I said 11. Like, what? 11 kids. And she still had all her hair. I was like, I love this. Turns out her husband is a pastor too. We had so many things in common. It was crazy. I said, I know I was supposed to know who you are before I left to hop on a plane and go to DC. Okay. And so many times we miss out on these opportunities because we feel like, you're not doing it well by yourself. But maybe it's pride. Maybe we want to take the scenic route. I don't know about you. Do y'all see these grays? Y'all see the gray? Maybe you can't on Facebook. Y'all see those grays in my hair? This is saying that time is going by very quickly, quicker than I choose for it to do so. It's going by fast. This is the window. The focus for the conference this year is the time is now. What are you waiting on? Who are you waiting on? We have for our single mamas who I know Boaz is on his way. We know he's coming, but the time is still now for you. Who are you waiting on to swoop in and fix the situation or rescue this or do this for you? No. Princess Cuthrell is coming to show you how she did it, how she is free in so many aspects of her life. She's coming to tell her story so that you feel like you can do it too. Oh, you're married? We got you covered too. The time is now, and the woman is you. Still, even though you have a partner, you have people that you're responsible to, and all these things. How do I keep my husband happy and still grow myself? How do I do all of these things? We're talking about it. I'm excited. I know y'all know I'm excited, but I'm excited because we have to be willing to change. And change doesn't have to be hard, but it does have to pull us to the next version. We do have to be willing. We do have to be open. We do have to say yes. Like sometimes saying yes is so hard. Sometimes making decisions are so trying. It feels like it's impossible to do. But you have to say yes. You have to be willing. You gotta want to. You have to want to. Then you have to be willing to put into play those things that are needed for you to become that person. Okay. So as I conclude all of this, I'm going to go throw some clothes on and be fabulous for this wedding. I want to remind you that the time is now. The woman is you. We are waiting on your brilliance, your excellence, your gifts, your dreams, passions, all of this awesomeness that is cooking inside of you. We need that. We're desiring it. We want to see it come to life. Okay. And if I, as a coach, if I, as a woman who gathers epic women in a sacred space. If you're somebody who's about that workshop life, you're about organizing your world, you're about loving God and loving your family and pursuing your purpose and positioning yourself, then the Momathon Conference is for you. We are your people. We're your people, okay? So if you have a heart to be there, if you're willing to be there, if you're ready to say yes, I want you to go ahead, slide in my messenger. In the caption on this video is the link to book your hotel room. You have until tomorrow night. If you don't book it by tomorrow night, sometimes we just procrastinate on stuff because we don't want to make decisions. Just book the room. You can cancel it later. Or you just book the room, say, okay, I'm going. And then message me if for some reason finances is an issue for your ticket, okay? You can reach out to me. I'm as willing as you are, but I can't come pick you up from your house now. So we got to make sure that we're working together to make this thing happen, okay? So in the caption of this video is the link to book your room. Go ahead and do it. No money is due today. All you got to do is reserve it. No harm, no foul. And then if you're interested in attending, you have until October 12th to get a ticket. October 12th. After that, it is what it is. All right. It is what it is. And we're going to let the chips fall where they may. And so thank you guys for hollering at me today. Peace be unto you as you're making transitions and working through some hiccups and making decisions and trying to figure out what's best for you and for your family. And we're really grateful that we get to be a part of that journey. Okay. Love you all so much. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for another live, I'm sure. Because now I'm back home. Yes, it feels good to be home. All right. Love you guys. Thank y'all for hanging out with me today. And I'm looking forward to seeing you and hugging you next month at the Momathon Conference.